The regular meeting of the Southern Shores Town Council for June the 3rd, 2014 is now in session. I'd ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. I'd remind you, if you want to make public comment tonight, to please sign the sign-up sheet, which is over there with, oh, I'm sorry, back on the back table. My apologies. But do that if you want to speak up. The only change that I know of to tonight's agenda is, and just found out about this, under staff reports, we had expected to hear from Bob Mack, who works for our lifeguard service, but because of the red flag warnings, the lifeguard guys couldn't get off to come to our meeting at this time. They'd be an hour, quite late, so we are going to postpone that till July meeting to introduce you to those members of our life savings lifeguard crew. Are there any amendments or to the agenda? Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion to approve it.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Agenda is approved. Council, I need your approval of the minutes of May the 7th, 2014 on tab 1. I'm sure you've all reviewed these and you were good with them, but let me know.
I move we approve the minutes of May 7th as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Tax pickup and releases. I'm a little confused on that one, Peter.
Well, I should have made the motion to approve the consent agenda.
My apologies. Not your fault. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is a report from the town planner, Mr. Haskett.
Thank you and good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I have a brief report for you tonight for May 2014. For permitting, there were 10 zoning permits issued, 30 building permits issued, which consisted of 3 additions and 27 others. There are currently 10 single-family dwellings under construction within the town, and the total amount of fees collected in May was $3,545. With respect to code enforcement, which is something I usually don't touch on, but I figured I'd put it in there for tonight. For the month of May, there were 7 warning citations mailed. That consisted of 5 brush and limb pile violations and 2 signage violations. And finally, for the comprehensive bicycle and pedestrian plan, the plan will be ready, or the draft plan will be available for public review in August, and we anticipate to hold the second public workshop where the public can come in and comment and ask questions on the draft plan. And we'll probably also hold the last steering committee meeting at that time as well. Any questions?
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you.
Not me. Chief Cole, our police chief.
Timing is everything. Good evening. Southern Shores Police Department report for May 2014. Our total calls for service were 1,227. As you can see the breakdown, officers investigated and handled 20 different incidents. They made 8 arrests, they handed out 102 citations, another 70 warning citations, 39 ordinance violations, and we handled 5 traffic accidents for the month of May. Just some of the other highlights as far as total calls for service. The officers physically conducted 315 business checks, another 163 residence checks. We had 20 mutual aid, directed 51 traffic. We had 29 suspicious condition calls, and we responded to 16 alarms, conducted 179 traffic stops, and another 109 extra patrols for the month of May. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Chief, I have a question. Some people have commented to me and asked me a question about those traffic pylons or the traffic signs in the medians that have been replaced now by the red poles.
Yes.
Are there any plans to replace the signs that were originally there that are the breakaway signs?
The ones that were there came out of my budget. They were over $300.
Each?
And they're not our responsibility. I only did it because I felt it was needed. It's actually the Department of Transportation's responsibility.
That is the North Carolina Department of Transportation.
That's correct. And I believe Peter will correct me if I'm wrong, but we've put that pylon up because that's the most economical way to at least mark those, I call them vehicle launching pads.
Right.
Because they're poorly lit, they're poorly marked, and that's a lot cheaper than spending the $300.
Well, the comment that I've heard is that the markers that were there before were put there because it did give an indication that people were supposed to stop at a crosswalk. And that was, sort of a notification
Right.
throughout Southern Shores coming in from that direction. And without that, we no longer have that notification.
Correct. Peter?
There are 2 signs on either side of the road still, for which regulate the crosswalk. And those pylons, the small pylons were placed at the recommendation of DOT.
So could we recommend or ask the DOT to provide some more of those signs and some extras, because they are constantly being knocked down and
They're
run over?
constantly being knocked down. The small, we can ask them, the small pylons were actually recommended by DOT in place of the others for sight visual awareness at those intersections. Believe it or not, that's
Well,
what we met with
I would
them,
have to
they
disagree with them
recommended
because they're not as visible as those signs that were there before. Thanks.
Larry, their comment, I met with the district engineer and Peter and 2 other people from DOT, and the comments, specific comments relative to those markers were that there's been no statistical evidence that one works better than the other as far as advising people or making people more aware of the fact that there's a crosswalk there. And that there had been instances, not here, but in the state, where the larger yellow markers have actually confused drivers at dusk and dawn and thinking it was a person crossing the street. They've stopped the car for no reason. So, and in some cases caused accidents. So that's what we were advised, and I don't have the authority to second guess them or have the knowledge to second guess them. I've had the same concerns you had expressed to me about the orange pylon versus the green, the yellow marker.
All right.
They are kind of a disposable item out there. We know that for a fact.
Right. Thanks.
But I would say we can follow up with DOT another time and see if they'll provide us some additional markers.
We can continue to address that. I know that even in the last week, we lost the last one because of people cutting that curve. When they come out of the street and take a left, they get destroyed about at least 2 or 3 a year from last year.
Yeah, they do.
But we can continue to look at it and talk to DOT.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Chief Harvey. I'm sorry, David, I apologize. You're still up there. I thought you'd gone over and had a seat.
Thank you.
You have more to report.
Yeah, I just want to introduce Anthony Beach. He was working for us last year. He's going to be working with us again this year as our Community Resource Officer. He'll be handling beach patrol, parking enforcement. He gets to meet all the happy campers. And he takes a lot out there. He really does. I can tell you, in the 30 years as a police officer, I've had more people upset with me handing them a $2, back home, we had a $2 parking ticket that cost $5 to print, but we'd hand those out and it was like the end of the world. So he does put up with a lot, but I know that both the mayor and Leo were not here last year, but just to give you a little background, Anthony lives here with his folks in Southern Shore since 2005. He's a local boy. He attended First Flight High School. He was very active in football, wrestling, track, and field. He graduated in 2008. He attended UNC at Pembroke, graduated in May of 2012 with a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice and a minor in sociology. He also, while he was in college, had done an internship with Robeson County Sheriff's Office. He likes to do half marathons, works out, fishes, plays golf. He also volunteer coaches wrestling here at the First Flight High School and I believe this year at the middle school. He also just recently was successful and graduated from the Basic Law Enforcement Training Academy. So he is now technically a certified police officer looking for employment. So he's kind enough to work with us, and hopefully he won't get the call until after summer. But this is his second year, and for all the gruff and crap that he puts up with, he's very good. We've had nothing but compliments from people on how well he does his job. He educates them. He doesn't talk down to them. He talks with them, and we've had some really good feedback from individuals. So I'd like to introduce you to Anthony Beach.
Anthony?
Chief Harvey?
Well, welcome back, Andy. I've had opportunity to talk to you on a couple of occasions. Even though I wasn't the mayor, I had a chance to meet with you and talk to you, and I really appreciate the job you're doing for us. Thank you. Now, Chief, it's your turn. I have no report. That's fine. That's fine. That's perfect, as a matter of fact. It gives me a chance.
Only it was the last time I didn't have a report. He threatened to put me in timeout. Other than that,
Well, you may be going to timeout. Who knows?
Well, he's retiring.
I'm glad. It's fine you don't have a report. I have a report. We understand you'll be retiring from your duties as Chief of the Southern Shores Volunteer Fire Department on June 30th of this year, 2014. This after 18 years of service, 10 of them as Chief. I want to thank you personally and on behalf of our council and staff for your exemplary service, not just to the department, but also to the citizens of our town and the surrounding communities. A job really well done, Chief. Finally, as you leave us and move on to new challenges, we want to wish you the very best. Thanks again. If you would be so kind as to meet me there where you were supposed to give a presentation, I would like to present you with a certificate of appreciation and a plaque. I'm going to read this certificate to you only because it says almost the same thing I just said, but I didn't write this. In recognition of your dedication to serve the town with your 18 years in the service of the Southern Shores Volunteer Fire Department, with 10 of those years as fire chief, Southern Shores expresses sincere gratitude. The town appreciates when its citizens like you desire to serve their town unselfishly to make it a better place to live. We wish you the very best for the future, and we thank you. This is signed by all the members of council.
Bob, enjoyed working with you. Thank you. be able to be closer to the spiders now.
That's absolutely. Anything I can do another contract home.
He's experienced.
And I'm gonna get you.
There's not much you can do in this role that I happen to be in right now that it brings you more satisfaction and more pride than to honor somebody who's done the job that, like Bob Harvey's done for the past 18 years. He's a real credit to our community and a real credit to the world, I think. Wonderful guy. Thank you, Bob. No report scheduled from the town. I'm sorry.
Oh, Andy's talking to him.
Oh, Andy's pulling it. Really, so wonderful. We're now scheduled for a public hearing with reference to the budget for this fiscal year 2014-2015 proposed budget. Ben, I would turn this over to you if you'd like.
I'd be glad to handle the public hearing for the 2014-2015 proposed budget. If there's anyone who wishes to speak, the hearing is now open. If you'll come to the podium and state your name and address. If anyone has any interest, if they'd raise their hand so that I know that you're coming to the podium. Seeing no one, I'm going to close the public hearing and hand it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Council, I'd like a motion that we adopt the proposed budget ordinance as written, as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. So the budget ordinance for 2014-2015 has been adopted as of this date. It's now time for general public comment. If any of you want to speak, you're certainly welcome to do so if you've signed up. If you haven't, raise your hand. No one signed up? This is wonderful. How can this be? The last time we had a crowd this size, it took us almost an hour just to get through the speakers. Much more pleasant tonight. Thank you all for coming out, I would say. Old business, council. I think there are no items of old business, or is no old business. New business? Town manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I have a short report tonight. I did want to remind that tomorrow is National Running Day, and annually Southern Shores has sponsored the National Running Day 5K for the entire Outer Banks, and we'll be doing that again tomorrow. And I'm happy to report we have several town employees who are actually running in the 5K. And Mr. Mayor, I believe you'll be giving the welcoming for that. It is going to be a large race starting at the marketplace and going to Chicken Hawk Light and back. And the purpose of National Running Day is to basically celebrate fitness and prove to working peers that you can have an exercise in the morning, run, get back, shower, and go to work. So we'll be starting the race at 6 a.m.
6 a.m., 6 a.m. Want you all to hear that.
We'll be gathering there at 5:30, and the gun will go off at 6 a.m., and it shouldn't take long, but welcome everybody who would like to come and celebrate with us at the marketplace tomorrow. I did want to remind the Finance Committee will be meeting next week on June the 11th at 10 a.m. Mr. Mayor and Councilman Hall comprise the Finance Committee and will be meeting in the Town Hall. Also, staff proposes tonight, Mr. Mayor, that the council does have a June 17th meeting at workshop meeting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, June 17th, to discuss some financial matters, and that being the last meeting of the fiscal year. So if there's no objection, we'll go ahead and schedule that well, it's already scheduled, so we'll keep it on the calendar unless there are any objections.
That's good, perfect.
I did want to report to council tonight the progress that's being made on the capital street projects for this current fiscal year. Fiscal year 2013-14 is coming to an end, and the projects that were bid out for the spring work, North Dune Loop, the reconstruction of the portion of that road has now been complete. It included stormwater improvements and does have curb and gutter. And recall, we had annual washouts on that street, and it looks great. So I urge you, council and public members, to please visit that street if you can. The CH Trail Hillcrest Drive intersection has now been reconstructed, and it also includes stormwater improvements. Woodland Drive, the northern cul-de-sac, has also been reconstructed and is now complete, with some minor cleanup to follow, but substantially completed. Mistletoe Lane is under construction as we speak. We did a visit this afternoon. It is a reconstruction of that entire road, including the addition of a cul-de-sac at the end. It's in progress, and ambitiously hope to have it completed by the middle of June. Ocean View Loop, the work is just starting. Survey stakes were in this week, and that will be reconstruction of both the north and south cul-de-sacs, and some trees will be removed. But that ambitiously will be completed by the end of June, hopefully. Duckwoods Drive, long-awaited paving truck is on the way, and it's scheduled to be actually paved on Saturday. We've authorized them to work on Saturday. It's being fine graded right now, and it'll be ready for paving on Friday, and they're actually going to start on Saturday morning. Is the plan.
That's good news.
So, that's my report for tonight, a short report, but I'll be glad to try to answer any questions and hear any comments.
I don't have any.
There's one thing I would say, I'm sorry, I'll just a second, I just want to say one thing. Let me call on you, Wes, Ben, go ahead.
I don't have anything to report.
See there?
I was getting prepared for you to call on me as the attorney to report anything, but not to ask Peter a question. But I don't have anything to report.
All right, good.
No need to
No,
delay
that's fine.
the meeting any longer.
We're on the street thing. I don't want to forget my comments, so I'm going to go ahead and make it. We've had some concerns with the Deer Path, Gravy Pond work that was done this past year, and the contractor came back this last week and weekend and through the weekend and did some work there. That is to be ultimately will be Deer Path will be completely repaved. That'll be restored to the condition it should be. That's going to happen by the end of September. Is that right, Peter?
That's correct.
So the work that's been done was temporary. It was kind of transitional to make sure we have the right compaction underneath that mix that was put down, and it's going to hopefully hold up for us. But I want you to know that has not been forgotten, and we're not ignoring that. It's a big issue. I don't have anything else to add tonight. I will say this, I appreciate all of you coming out, not just for the meeting, but also to pay your respects to Chief Harvey. I think it's a wonderful thing we've done tonight on his behalf, and I appreciate that. Jody?
I don't really have anything other than to say thank you to the staff again for this whole budget process. I mean, it was very complete, concise, clear, and I think you all worked together very well, and I'm very grateful for that, and I want to thank you for that.
David?
Nothing at all.
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
I just got one thing. I had the opportunity of attending the First Flight High School Awards banquet, or not banquet, awards ceremony, and it was really exciting to see these young people graduating or getting their awards and what they've done for their 4 years in high school, and the enthusiasm that they have. One young man received an appointment to the military academy. The officer making that presentation valued that education at about $500,000. And Another young man received a full ROTC scholarship to Brigham Young. One of our Southern Shores Fire Department young people got a scholarship, $1,000 scholarship, I think, through the Dare County Fire Association of Fire Officers. Pardon?
If I may,
Yes.
Gordon Harrison,
Yes, I couldn't get to the last name.
who is a junior member of our department, received $1,000 first flight award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Outer Banks Community Foundation awarded the largest number, but they manage a number of endowments that give it. The Knights of Columbus gave out 3, but there was a lot of scholarships. But I did have the opportunity afterwards to visit with some of them, and it was rewarding to see these young people that'll be our leaders sometime down the road. We always hear the negatives about our youth, but last Tuesday night it dispelled all that. Too bad we didn't get more coverage.
Thank
That's
you,
all I
Leo.
got.
Thank you. Any further business? If not, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Boy, that was a short meeting.
Thank you.